Good morning. It's Comic Artist Pro Secrets, and I'm Ethan Van Sciver. It is, I don't know, there's like frozen rain coming down outside. It is a bleak winter day. Perfect time to discuss something warm and happy. Cyberfrog. This is the last issue of the first 4-issue miniseries. This is Cyberfrog number 4. We're looking at 1995. And this is the original cover. This is the first time I was inked by a professional inker, not just one of my friends. I think Matt and Trent over at Holy Heroes probably inked me a couple of times. I don't recall. But I did full pencils and was inked by Chip Wallace, who ended up turning in this cover looks the most professional, I think, out of any of the Cyberfrog covers that I did. Really, really nice job. And I don't think I appreciated it then as much as I do now. It's really, really clean, super clean, and it's a good cover. I actually like this cover. Ben Rowley getting a Cyberfrog's tongue whipped around his head there. Good times. What is this blue electricity here, right here? I am not really sure where that comes from, but it's just there. We had a variant cover by Jay Lee. And I don't know what this is. When he turned this in, I was happy to have Jay Lee do a cover. And I thought, I think this is a repurposed drawing of the Max. And the reason why I say that is because of this shadow here. I don't see this toothy shape here. I think this is the Max, and I think he did a sketch of it and redrew it as Cyberfrog, because Cyberfrog is about he's a little less than 5 feet tall. He's a little guy. And this guy is a hulking 7-foot tall behemoth. He's at least 7 feet tall. And this is Cyberfrog on steroids. Still, Jay Lee contributed a cover, and I was very happy for that. Let's open this thing right here and let's see what's inside. All right, so this is me going back to my thin line. So somebody said to me at a convention, and I always listen to fans, somebody said, hey, your lines are too fat. I like what's in right now. I mean, you look at Mark Silvestri and Jim Lee, they're using all these tiny little lines. Why are your lines so fat? Good question. Let's get back to the way I used to draw. And that's kind of what happened starting here. Here's a nice faked perspective panel. I had no idea how to do perspective. I don't think I did. I think I might have known 1-point perspective, but I didn't know how to do anything more complex, and I didn't really understand the rules for perspective. That was something I taught myself when I got my first job at DC. I sat down and, pieced it together and really read books and learned how to do it and why, what it's for. And I considered that part of my job. I was able to fake it up until this point. I remember talking to Mike Waringo one time about perspective, and he just says, I just fake it every single time, which alarmed me. And I'm not sure if I believed him or not, but that stuck with me that he said that to me. He doesn't do perspective grids. He would just kind of fake perspective, and nobody noticed. As long as you understand it, I guess you can fake it pretty well. Here's Cyberfrog pouring Heather Jolt Cola to wake her up in the morning. He has rescued her from Deathfly last issue. She is sleeping on his disgusting couch in his disgusting beat-up building here. By the way, at least this kind of places the building in some kind of context. I tried to draw the building from different angles. The building Cyberfrog was hanging out in. It was kind of like an abandoned sort of, decrepit slum, and I always like drawing it with other buildings around because I didn't know perspective was difficult. Here, at least it kind of has some context with this other building behind it and this tree here. You gotta learn these things. You gotta figure out how to draw before you draw, or not. Just wing it like this. Heather wakes up, screams. Cyberfrog's like, "Whoa, shush, hey!" And she wakes up and remembers everything that happened to her. And she wants to go home. And Cyberfrog's like, yep, let me take you home. So this is the first of, I think, many panels that I used to draw of Cyberfrog jumping through the sky with Heather Swain kind of clinging to him. Does this drawing make sense? I don't think so. Where's her arm? Maybe her, no. Her shoulder should be here, and you should be able to see her other arm here, but you kind of don't. It should be here. Look at this background here. It's pretty intricate. This was photo reference that I got from New York City. Like, I would walk around New York City and just take photographs, and I think this is kind of Chinatown. And I'd walk around and just take photos. You had to develop photos back then, so you'd take your photos, get them developed, and then you'd have them in a stack for photo reference. Interestingly enough, you get one side of the street, and then this just is a void. It's almost like the world turns sideways, and this is the horizon line, and that's the sky, and this is all kind of buildings. So yeah, still learning, still doing tricks to get by. He lands on a pickup truck. Hey, my truck, crunch. Cyberfrog. This is all, Cyberfrog's very inconsiderate, in these early issues. Like, I think that being a teenage boy, you just kind of go, ha. So I'm like, now as an adult, I look at this and go, that's not funny. That guy's truck. What are you doing? Bouncing on car to car. And Heather is getting sick. But look, Cyberfrog is a frog. He jumps. He doesn't fly. That is the thing. So, jumps high in the air. She looks like she's going to blarf. She's a blarf. I guess that's vomit. And boom. Oh, look at this. Look at this topical joke. You just missed my shoulder, Heather. I would have dropped you like Hertz done OJ. That is awful. But it was the 90s. It was actually the OJ Simpson murder trial was going on while I was drawing this. That's not bad. That face is pretty good. Every now and then I'd slow down and I'd try to get it right. Her hair is still, terrible. But again, it was a different time. Cyberfrog lands and hands her the amulet, and she is freaking out. She doesn't like the amulet. She is talking about Ben Reilly and the stuff that he did. But still she takes the amulet and informs Cyberfrog all about it, I guess. All right. She says, oh my God, I just said bye-bye to a talking cybernetic frog. I think I'll take a nap. Yeah, you should. And Cyberfrog kind of just jumps through the air like he does. Here's a very Dale Keown-ish panel. I love Dale Keown. I really do. And I think, you look at the teeth here and, this whole thing. I think I was trying to draw like Dale Keown at that moment. It's a good panel. It's not bad. And as he jumps and thinks about taking revenge on Ben Reilly, Deathfly, he is suddenly a silhouette. Look at this ground here. Look at that. That is what happens when you don't know what you're doing. There are no buildings, really. It looks like he's on some kind of gigantic pier. And here he comes. Here comes... Oh, look at that. Double page spread. Do I like this? Nah, it's not bad. This is better than the way he looked last issue with the kind of Joe Madureira face. This is more in line with the way I draw. He hits Cyberfrog right in the back, but where is his? It's not really. He's supposed to be kind of kicking him in the back, but it's not working. Look at all this kind of decoration around. This double page spread is only this big, and the rest of it is just, frame. Everything's in a frame all the time. At least I didn't sign it though. Yeah. Crashes Cyberfrog into the ground, picks him up with one of his arms by the butt. Cyberfrog hits him. This is, again, very Bugs Bunny. That was the whole thing. Violent Bugs Bunny. Knocks his ridiculous sunglasses off, and you can see that he has cat's eyes underneath, so he is no longer human at all. Cyberfrog just makes fun of him endlessly while he beats Cyberfrog up. And poor Cyberfrog, look, he's got a bloody mouth. It's very sad. Ben Reilly wants his amulet. Cyberfrog tells him to look up his mother's, and then boom, you get smashed into fruit cart. And that's what you should do. More of the Spihar. I kept tributing Spihar because I really liked his lettering, and I wanted to say hi to him all the time when he was lettering my pages. Here he is in a kind of How many times have people drawn this with people, with the hero kind of like in a smashed fruit vendor's cart, and there's fruit everywhere. I mean, I've done it many times in my career, whether I wanted to draw it or not, whether somebody asked me to. He's like, where's the amulet? He's like, this means a lot to you, doesn't it? Where is it? And he flies it up into the sky. I like that line. That's actually pretty funny. Would you like to meet your maker? He's like, who, Ethan? Nah. What? Cyberfrog. And then boom. I don't know. Then meet mine. He's going to send him to hell, I guess. Farewell, Cyberfrog. See you in hell. Ha ha ha. Now for dessert. Meanwhile, Heather goes to her apartment, and we get to see Heather in her underpants. Because, again, that's what people did in the 90s. You had to do that. I don't know why I felt like I needed to do it. Probably because I was around all the Vampirella artists. And I just thought, yeah, it was showing skin, beautiful women, undressed is what you're supposed to do in comics. So, got to do it or it's not a comic book. The art's getting better. It's a nice panel of Ben Reilly with his arms out. He brings Heather Swain down to what is called Ground Zero with this ridiculous character who is the Egyptian god Osiris. He's got a bust of Elvis next to him. And Cyberfrog is trapped in this rock. And Osiris is holding out his hand to catch Heather. Osiris hates her clothes, which is fine. Everyone's a critic. Wants the amulet back, and Ben has it. Ben got the amulet right from Heather. Look at this transformation, and right in Heather's face. Heather looks pretty good. Heather's all right there. I'm starting to get her kind of look down. And Cyberfrog is pinned to this rock. He wants out so he can save Heather from Deathfly. And yeah. I remember being proud of myself when I drew this. I forgot about these pages, but I remember thinking, yeah, look at how intense, like there are a lot of panels, they're very small, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Storytelling is okay. I mean, a lot of good shots of our heroes and villains. Yeah, Deathfly goes in for the kiss, and Heather's like, ugh, it's disgusting. And she, I don't know what happens. Let's see. Oh, something. Oh, I don't know. She gets electrified or something, and then she lands on the ground. And Osiris is bored by all this, and he's just like, yeah, she's changing right now. She is. Yeah. She's becoming a monster. Deathfly absolutely loves it. Cyberfrog's worried because he is aware now that this is going to change Heather into yet another gigantic fly monster, and he doesn't want another one. He was trying to get rid of the one he had. So he exerts all of his strength to try to break free of the rock. It doesn't work, so he shoots his little tongue out. And we remember his tongue implants a little time bomb. So he's going to try a time bomb on the rocks that he is entombed in. There's always something about frogs entombed in rocks. I heard a story about there was some kind of rock that dated back to God knows when, like thousands of years, and they cracked it open and there was a frog inside that was still alive. And I thought that can't be true, and whatever. But how interesting is that? The idea of an entombed frog in rock, and I think that's what kind of inspired this whole sequence here. And it works. Of course, it works. Cyberfrog is freed from the rock, and now he is going to go fight. He's going to go fight Deathfly. Good lighting here. All right, let's go. Let's tackle him like a football player and start tearing him up. And that's what Cyberfrog does. He's going to actually rip him to pieces. And this is very Image right here. This whole sequence where you kind of do a Ken Burns on a character as he swings back and forth, just blood everywhere. I think I wanted his blood to be red. But for some reason, Harris Comics said, no, we better make it green because otherwise this scene is going to be way too bloody. And yeah, I guess so. Again, very Dale Keown, very Pitt influenced. It's this blood kind of, splattering up like this. And here we go. This was going to be a t-shirt. Cyberfrog drenched in Deathfly's blood. Was it good for you? Let me see. Let me look at that for a while. The printing looks weird. Maybe not. I don't know. It's just, it looks a little bit fuzzy, but yeah, that must have taken a long time. And then again, everything's in a frame with little froggies in each corner, little Cyberfrog heads. All right, best panel in the whole series. Here comes Heather. She's become a deathfly. He's like, oh no, what the Heather? And he smacks Heather. He has to kind of put her out of commission. She is now dangerous. And poor Ben Reilly's on the ground, limbless, and he's like, shut up and die already. And then he smashes the amulet, and Heather, fortunately, comes back to normal again. That's what happens, by the way, like in zombie movies, like, or vampire movies, when you kill the source of the monsterism, then everybody snaps back to normal again. And those are the rules. I didn't make them up. Cyberfrog sticks his tongue. This is amazing. I don't remember any of this, but it certainly is interesting to see it again. Cyberfrog sticks his tongue, shoots it down Ben Reilly's throat. Basically, he's gonna have a little time bomb in his stomach, I guess. I don't know. And he says, "Blech, the things I'll do for melodrama." And Ben Reilly goes, "Can I please ask Heather something?" And there's tick, 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 tick. And Cyberfrog's like, "Well, you're on the clock." Deathfly says, "Look at the blood just pouring out of his arms." Oh, sick. It's just so sick. "Why, Heather, why couldn't you accept your destiny as my undead bride? Hell and earth could have been ours together, dining on the flesh of the pure, thirst quenched by blood of inferiors. Why couldn't you accept this?" And she says, "Because I don't date cannibals." And Cyberfrog just kicks his corpse into hell, where he falls down like Wile E. Coyote, and then, and that should be the end of Ben Reilly. He says, "Hey, give the girl a hand for having standards," and it's the least. I mean, she deserves better than that. I think whether you're a fan of Heather or not, I don't think she needs to be dating a cannibal. And he's gonna fight Osiris, but no, Osiris is gonna send them back to Earth. And Cyberfrog's like, "See, you just have to know how to talk to these deity types." And we're very, very Bugs Bunny. He drops her back on the roof of her building, or not her building, just any building. And she says, "I have no idea where we are." He's like, "I do. I'm out of here." Cyberfrog has not bonded with Heather in this series yet. Later on, he would become very protective of her. But at the moment, he is just kind of like, "Look, get me out of here." By the way, cleaned up. No more blood on him. She says, "No, don't go. Wait a minute." And I guess this is when they bond. Cyberfrog is afraid that she's going to yell at him too and call him a freak and tell him to get away. And she says, no, I want to thank you for saving my life twice. Without you, I'd be a winged monster or probably dead. I owe you. And Cyberfrog is grateful for this. I mean, how many more times can Cyberfrog get in there and, think he's doing good and just get yelled at in response? And she's like, "Could I have one more favor?" Yeah. "Could I have a lift home?" Okay. So, Cyberfrog, you're going to have to take Heather home. Epilogue, the traffic compound. And by the way, everyone was named Smithers. Like, everyone did the same Simpsons joke in the 90s where the assistant was named Smithers. And I did it too. Not very creative. So here is Rush Hour. Here is the new supervillain team that Cyberfrog is going to face in the next miniseries. Barge, Shockroach, a new character named Dystopia. And Shockroach is, he's got a new costume, and there's Spite and Device back there. And are you pleased, sir? All right, Shockroach, you've got your backup team. You've got the firepower. Tomorrow, I expect frog legs for dinner. Yeah. That's, again, very Dale Keown. Look at this panel here. But, I got in there, and I drew all these characters. And Dystopia was a weirdo. I remember I wanted her to be... I had a girlfriend when I was 15 or 16 who loved Sylvia Plath, and she kept sending me these really gloomy poems, and she would write her own. She would send me she'd be like, "You have to read this." Yeah, Lady Lazarus, and I'd be like, "Oh my God." So I'd read it, this crazy suicidal feminist poetry, and I would read it and just think it was pretty cool because that's what you do when you're a teenager. But boy, was it depressing. So depressing. And then she would write me her own poems in red ink and then claim that it was her blood. Listen, I was a goth kid when I was a teenager, so I was around a lot of these people. This character is based on her. Yeah. And then Shockroach, I think, is pretty neat. He's got a good name. Where did I get Shockroach from? Must have just did it. Did I hear it somewhere? I don't know. I'll do a search on it and see if it comes up. I feel like it's not very original. I feel like I heard it somewhere and borrowed it. It's a pretty good name. And here we go. Here's a picture of young Ethan with his hat on backwards at a convention. Hey, I'm Ethan Van Sciver. I got all my pens lined up here. Look at all the Sharpies that I'm working with. And then these would be, if you look close, these are Pigma Microns. And everybody was using Pigma Microns. You can, I did another video. I reference it often about going to Michael's and buying art supplies. I talk about Pigma Microns. And, that's what people were using in the 90s. Look at this here. There's a little preview of an issue of Cyberfrog. And it's in front of me, like, hey, you want to see my black and white Xerox pages from probably this issue here, issue 4? Have a look. Let's see. Here's a threat I received with cutout letters. It says, "I have your frog. Get back online, or I will eat him." Oh, all right. I must have quit being on the internet for a while. And then here's some fan art. Richard Harrison from Australia, really nice. And I mean, it's like Cyberfrog encouraged people to do gory things. It's very strange. Alex Martinez, I got the best fan art. Really, really good fan art all the time. It was nice. And I could only publish so much of it, but I wanted to publish all of it. And here's the advert for Cyberfrog Reservoir Frog, 1 of 2. So that was already approved, and we were going to do it. Here's Cyberfrog in a trench coat, trying to cover up, his bumpy anatomy, I guess. It's ripped up, and he's got guns. So you're like, whoa, he's got guns. Oh, and they did a preview of it. Here's a black and white preview. I did a commentary track for this book already. It is available on this channel. Oh, look at this, Adam Hughes. Oh, some good art. An Adam Hughes Vampirella cover and the style he was using. I mean, just beautiful. We used to get his covers in and just be like, whoa, just pour over them. And the thing about Adam Hughes is, like, he always had a million sketches, like rough sketches for cover ideas. And I think that's how he worked on Vampirella, where he would just kind of say, hey, you want a Vampirella cover? Here's my catalog of sketches. Just tell me, do you want A, B, C, D, or E? And I will produce it, and that was kind of convenient for everybody. This is great. Terrific. So there it is, Cyberfrog number 4, and that's the end of the first mini-series. What can I say? I mean, it's not good at all, but there's tremendous growth, I think, between issues 1 and 4. And that's really all you can hope for, guys. You don't have to be perfect right away. And I talk to people about, these people who are starting their new comic books and they refine them over and over and over again. No, don't refine it. Just do better with the second one. These comic books are temporary things. They stay on the stands for a month. People might pick them up as back issues later, sure. But the idea is to just keep your current work as fresh as possible and do better the next time. So, you look at issue 4 and you go, oh, it's okay. It's not my best. I'm going to do better the next time. I'm going to do better with Reservoir Frog. Reservoir Frog wasn't very good. I'm going to do better with issue 2. And you do. And incrementally you grow and you get better and you learn new skills and you learn what looks good in print and what looks terrible in print. That is a big lesson. When you get a book back and it's, you see it finally printed and you realize that thing that you did didn't work and it looks terrible printed and colored. And then you have to try again. And that, still, I mean, even to this day, I go through that. I'll try something new and it doesn't work, or it does work and I'll do more of it. Guys, just keep growing and keep practicing and don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Comics are too important, too fun, and they are for everyone, including you. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks to everyone who has subscribed. Thank you to people who hit like on this video. Please do hit like. It really helps with the algorithm. And thank you to all my new Patreon backers. I think by March 1st, I'm going to begin to assemble the rewards and send them out. And also, I'm going to do a screen at the end of all my videos that thanks all the Patreon backers, just first names and maybe a last initial. People deserve to have their privacy. And but it'll be at the end of all my videos with a cool little music piece and maybe a little bit of animation. I thank you all. Thanks to everyone who gives to Super Chats as well. I gotta, just remind myself to thank you guys for everything. YouTube has been quite a journey. We are now at 11,200, almost 11,200 subs. That is, we're 8 away from that at this moment. 11,200 subs. Honestly, guys, I thought I might get to 10,000 in April, and it's only February, and we are already at 11,000, and it's, I'm grateful again. Thank you. All right, so with that said, I'm going to say goodbye, and we will. I was going to do a drawing video yesterday. We ended up doing a live chat with Rob of Comics Explained, which didn't work very well. I kept losing my internet for some reason. But today I'm going to do, probably tonight, another quick supplementary perspective drawing video because people are still struggling with some things. I'll find a new trick to show you guys, and hopefully we can clarify it a little bit more. Thank you. All right, guys, take care.
In the ATL, that's my homeboy. Watch your back if you're gonna walk alone, boy. Cause everybody in the homeboys tryna get rich. You could get hit even if you know 'em, boy. We the kings of the South. Pies in the oven, grills in the mouths. Count stacks is a usual norm. College Park, bank here where the hustle was born. So peace up and A-Town down. 4-4 living with the 808 sound. Nightlife popping, ain't nobody stopping. Cutting up a rug when the beat dropping. The dirty birds nest here, and then the haters get to talking. Then they falling on the deaf ears. This is where trap music was born, on the 50-yard line of the Georgia Dome. In the ATL, pop that, drop that. Dirty birds, you ain't never gonna stop that. ATL, we the best, this dirty South, living from MIA to Texas. ATL, drop stacks in the tip cup, buying out the